9 reasons why you lack focus. Welcome back to the channel WISGRAM, where you can get practical wisdom for money, investing, success, and more. In today's video, I'll be sharing the 9 reasons why you lack focus. But before we begin, please give this video a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so that you wouldn't miss any of our new videos that will be uploaded every week. Now, let's get started. Have you ever found yourself blankly staring in front of your computer despite knowing that there is an urgent deadline for the task? Or have you ever tried to set aside something difficult because you feel like you can't manage to deal with it at the moment? Well, you are certainly losing concentration. Concentration is important in everything, not only for your success, but even in the simplest tasks. You need to focus when slicing meat, otherwise you'll get a cut. You need to completely watch your steps, otherwise you'll fall down the stairs. There are limitless reasons why focus is a fundamental consideration. If you can focus, then you're creating more pressure on yourself. While the use of technology is one to blame, there are other factors that deplete the potential to fully concentrate. Here are 9 of them. Number 1. You overuse technology. According to psychologist Caroline Beaton, one of the leading causes of decreased attention is the modern advancement in technology. There is no doubt that mobile phones and computers have become part of everyone's life. However, these technologies lead people to become more accustomed to counterproductive behavioral traits such as living a life of instant gratification or fixating on personal things rather than the issues around the world. As a result, people tend to focus more on those that bring them pleasure over things that require cognitive effort. The distractions caused by this age of technology adds up to the incapacity to concentrate. The majority of people spend more than 40% of their time on their mobile device or computer, which is a lot. Number 2. You lack sleep. The brain needs enough rest and sleep to properly function. A study from the University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine shows a direct correlation between sleep deprivation and impaired cognitive function, including working memory and cognitive speed. Another study by the Journal of Neuroscience discovered that when mice are deprived of sleep, the locus coeruleus neurons, LCNs, essential for the brain's alertness, begin to die off. Scientists assume that the same thing could happen in human brains. Lack of sleep can literally kill your brain cells, which results in the inability to focus. It's vital to get enough sleep as it allows the body to repair muscles and restore chemicals while allowing the brain to exercise neural connections. Otherwise, everything suffers, particularly the mind. Because your brain is fatigued and confused simultaneously, it will be quite difficult to stay concentrated on anything. It is torn between doing the task at hand and wanting to shut down since it hasn't got the time to prepare for another day of activities. Number 3. You are surrounded by distractions. You're working on your computer while the TV is on. Suddenly, your mobile phone beside you rings for a notification. The question is, are these technologies necessary while working? If not, then they are considered distractions. Why? When the phone beeps, you're urged to check it. Your attention becomes divided if you see something on the TV. There is a limitation on using the devices you own, as sometimes it hinders your focus on a particular task. By making a habit of turning off everything or removing all sorts of distractions, you can improve your focus and finish the job on time. Number 4. You're working too much. Research shows that most people focus on 1 to 4 hours of intense work per day. Therefore, taking a lot of tasks at hand is why you are unable to focus on what you're doing. Plus, when you're overburdened, you increase the risk for stress and anxiety, which is one of the causes why you lack focus. In a study entitled "The Cost of Interrupted Work, More Speed and Stress," researchers discovered that people who work fast while being constantly interrupted actually produce less and develop higher frustration levels. Well, how do you avoid overworking? First, stop thinking about tasks or deadlines for a while. Then, step away, take a break, or go for a vacation. Simply give your brain the rest it needs. Otherwise, if you choose to overwork, you're going to lose focus and be less efficient at your job. Of course, you wouldn't want that, would you? Number 5. You're stressed. Constant worrying, being preoccupied with your thoughts, or working under a deadline causes anxiety and stress and dissociates you from reality. It pulls you away from your present and makes it hard for you to focus. In addition, stress takes a toll on the brain over time. It leads to a shorter attention span, reduced memory, and impaired judgment. Meditation is one of the most effective strategies to enhance focus and reduce stress. The alpha brainwave state, which improves attention and concentration, inspires creativity, and promotes deep relaxation, is induced by meditation. The U.S. Marines have experimented with meditation and noticed that it helps soldiers stay focused and calm under pressure. With less stress and anxiety, people get to breathe and concentrate on tasks that lie ahead of them. Number 6. You dislike what you're working on. Why do most people advise you to engage in things that match your interests? The answer is simple: so that you remain focused. Phil Stutz, a practicing psychiatrist, and Barry Mickles, a practicing psychotherapist, explain that taking action on a dreaded task inspires a certain amount of pain. To put it in simple terms, when you work with something that does not bring you happiness and fulfillment, it's hard to give your 100%. If you don't get excited about it, you'll probably find ways and excuses to put it off as much as you can. You'll avoid whatever uncomfortable feelings it'll inspire. You'll end up wasting time and never put both your heart and mind into getting it done. Number 7. You have a messy and loud environment. Most people become productive and efficient in an ideal work environment, a quiet place with less clutter and mess. If you find your workspace too hot, cold, cluttered, or noisy, your capacity to focus will suffer. Clutter and mess are a source of mental distraction. Whether your table is surrounded by toys, chargers, or bottles, the end result is the same. You have something to focus on other than the task at hand. So clean everything up and allow your brain to concentrate on a single task at a time. When dealing with a loud environment, you can get a working pair of earphones and listen to your favorite music. It'll enhance your concentration. Number 8. Your brain doesn't get the fuel it needs. Your brain is a high-performance organ that requires a lot of energy, oxygen, water, and nutrients to function properly. What you eat has a big impact on how well your brain performs all of its activities, including focus. Therefore, your diet should resemble real food rather than any processed food to achieve the maximum focus. Scientists advise cutting down on sugar as it is terrible news for your mental and physical health. Sugar has a destructive impact on your memory, emotions, and attention span. It alters the patterns of your brainwaves, making it difficult to think clearly. Moreover, caffeine can cause stress and anxiety symptoms worse as it lowers blood supply to the brain, which is totally harmful. Just like any machine, the body needs the right fuel to function. Thus, you need to feed your body and brain the nutrients they need to perform at their best. Number 9. Mental health problems. Underlying mental health problems such as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, make it difficult to focus and function. These problems disturb paying attention, listening, and following directions. Moreover, the numerous prescription medicines used to treat these diseases can severely impact the ability to concentrate. Cholesterol-lowering medicines, prescription sleeping pills, chemotherapy, and drugs that begin with such as antihistamines and antidepressants, are among the worst offenders as they work by inhibiting the function of acetylcholine, a brain neurotransmitter that helps you focus, learn, and stay mentally aware. If you feel you have an undetected ailment or are taking any medications that may be impairing your ability to concentrate, you may need to talk to your doctor. So, out of the 9 reasons, what prevents you from concentrating the most? Since you know the reasons now, I'm sure you can also find ways to get rid of those and focus more on the important things from now on. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for watching and see you again soon in another one of our episodes. Once again, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family so that they can enjoy it as well. With that said, have a wonderful day everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.